Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of the members of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, I extend my sincere appreciation to the heads of government and other dignitaries for accepting the invitation to this 21st Century Government Summit. Your presence here today is a testimony of your understanding of how fundamentally the world has changed because of the rapid technological innovation and the convergence of information and communication technologies. This ICT revolution has created new modes of engagement and communication, erasing geographical boundaries, compressing time, providing real-time access to the information of the ages, giving access to a global audience, changing the way business is conducted, and creating a virtual reality into which more and more aspects of our lives are being entwined. Our response to these phenomenal technology-enabled changes cannot be business as usual, because these changes are eroding the platforms on which our societies and economies have been built, and they are steadily chipping and hammering away at the very foundation on which governments are built. So our response to these phenomenal changes has to be appropriate. And as stewards of Caribbean development, it is important that we embrace the technologies to transform every aspect of our lives. My technology is confusing me. And if we as stewards of Caribbean development do not respond appropriately to these changes, these platforms and foundations on which we rely, in which we trust, will collapse, throwing us into ruin. The CTU's response to this revolution was to expand its remit to include information and communication technologies, and also to include all Caribbean member states, the private sector, and civil society organizations into our organizations. And thus, the CTU has become a multi-stakeholder organization, which is better equipped to respond to the needs of our members. Businesses that do not respond appropriately to the changing times, they become irrelevant and fade into oblivion. Remember Woolworths, or Compaq, or MCI WorldCom, Pan Am? They are no more, all but forgotten, because they did not respond appropriately to the changing times. Governments that do not respond appropriately do not go out of business, but instead, their ability to serve their citizens effectively diminishes over time. Governments that do not respond appropriately to these technological changes, they slowly morph into a state of gridlock. And I recall several years ago attending a small island developing states workshop on information and communication technologies in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, when a former prime minister lamented with great frustration that he could not do what he needed to do as a prime minister because of government bureaucracy. We need to recognize that the foundation of our traditional governments have been built on systems that are centuries old, hailing from the time when the technology was inkpots and quill pens, parchment and strong boxes, horses and carriages, town criers. At that time, the government's processes were optimized for the technology of that day. Pen and parchment, strong boxes, parchment documents. The processes were optimized for that technology. But the ICT revolution has rendered these platforms ineffective, making it imperative that for the government in this 21st century to optimize its processes based on the technology of today. Imagine for a moment a horse-drawn carriage moving at 20 kilometers per hour on the busiest highway where the speed of the vehicles are 120 kilometers per hour. Imagine the chaos and the peril that would result. One horse-drawn carriage on the highway will snarl all the traffic and bring it to a crawl. The horse-drawn carriage is anachronistic to this era of modern cars, fast cars, and smooth highways. And this is what is happening to many Caribbean governments. To their peril, they are driving horse-drawn carriages with their citizens in it on the information superhighway. This summit seeks to present the shift that is needed to create a government that is fit for purpose in the 21st century using information and communication technologies. A government that is citizen-centric and seamless. Government that is faster, cheaper, efficient, effective, and transparent. Government that is relevant to the hopes and aspirations of its citizens. Just as we have done away with the horse-drawn carriages, we have to be prepared to discard the impotent systems that no longer serve our best interests and to leverage the full potential of information and communication technologies to transform our governments and to enhance the state's sustainable development prospects for our future. Moving to the 21st century government, it's a complex undertaking, and we need the heads of government to embrace it and to be the champions to drive the process. Acquiring technology is not an inexpensive undertaking. So we will, at this summit, will be proposing a mechanism for financing the journey towards 21st century government. We call it the Caribbean ICT SUSU. Heads of government, at the end of this summit, we would like to know that you are convinced in your mind of the need to embrace 21st century government. We would like to know that you are prepared to champion the move to 21st century government. We would like to be assured that you are prepared to collaborate and cooperate with your colleagues in a Caribbean ICT SUSU to finance the adoption of 21st century government across the region. And once you indicate your commitment to 21st century government, the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, the Center for Administration Development, and other strategic partners will work with your government on a country-by-country basis to make it happen. 21st century government is but one element of the vision and roadmap for the Caribbean single ICT space that the heads of the Caribbean community approved in February 2017. I am appealing to you to work with us to make this vision of a single ICT space a reality. I thank you. Thank you. Good morning. On behalf